Gather round, my children. Curtis here bringing you yet another Magic the Gathering commentary produced by Green Carpet Media. I have a great game here for you today because we have two classic decks from the Kamigawa block. We have the mono red deck Spiritbane played by Boog and the mono white deck Way of the Warrior played by Garrus. Both these decks incorporate the keyword ability Bushido, but they utilize this ability in different ways. For every point of Bushido, a creature gains +1/+1 whenever it blocks or becomes blocked. Of course, the red deck Spiritbane will be using the ability to put on quick pressure, while the white deck Way of the Warrior will be using it defensively. On another note, you might have noticed that we changed our user interface. I know it's a lot different, but it's a good different, because if you watched our previous games, there was a lot of stop and explain, stop and explain. We call this brief pause in the game card mode, and it was a necessary evil because our user interface didn't do a very good job of giving you all the information you needed. So, out with the old and in with the new. And with that out of the way, back to the game. Now Boog has won the dice roll and has opted to play first, and her initial starting hand isn't too bad. She has a lot of effective creatures but no spells to back those creatures up. She also has to take into consideration that she doesn't have a third mountain, but probability is on her side. Garrus appears to have the opposite situation. He has a lot of lands and some good spells, but not many creatures. While Konda's Hatamoto is a great 2-drop, he'll need a few more creatures on the field if he wants to defend against the onslaught of Spiritbane. It looks like both these players are satisfied with their hands, so Boog is going to start us off by playing a mountain and passing her turn. Now Garrus should be looking to set up a strong defense. He draws Devoted Retainer, probably the best 1-drop in his deck. It's a 1/1, but remember it has 1 point of Bushido, which means if it gets blocked or decides to block, it becomes a 2/2. He's going to play a Plains, tap it, and play his Retainer. Over on Boog's side, she has drawn Battle Mad Ronin, a fantastic 2-drop for Boog. This creature is a 1/1 but has 2 points of Bushido. The catch? Battle Mad Ronin attacks each turn if able. This isn't a horrible situation for Garrus. Remember, if he doesn't block, Battle Mad Ronin will only deal 1 damage to Garrus' life total, so he shouldn't be in a huge rush to defend against this creature. Boog has played a mountain, tapped both her lands, played Battle Mad Ronin, and passed her turn back over to Garrus. Now Garrus will be looking to get Konda's Hatamoto active as soon as possible. He needs to bolster his defenses because if Boog is able to get that third mountain, she'll be in a great position to start applying serious pressure to Garrus. Garrus has drawn a Plains and played that Plains. He's going to tap down all of his lands and pull out Nodachi, an artifact equipment. This equipment has a 3 colorless equip cost and gives the equipped creature +2/+0 and first strike. I'm not entirely sure if this was the best choice Garrus could have made. I feel like getting Hatamoto active on the field first and then playing Nodachi would have been a better decision, because as you can see, Boog has drawn into her third mountain and will most likely be playing Ronin Houndmaster, a 2/2 human samurai with haste and 1 point of Bushido. It looks like she's going to tap down all of her lands and pull out her Houndmaster. Since this creature has haste, it'll be able to attack as soon as it hits the battlefield. Boog is going to bring the house at Garrus, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't block. Boog is only hitting Garrus with 3 damage, which in perspective isn't that much. It looks like Garrus is going to let both creatures slide, and he'll take the 3 damage going down to 17. I might want to retract my previous statements about Garrus playing the artifact Nodachi before Hatamoto. This is a big risk, but might offer big rewards for Garrus in the long run. He's going to be defending against a red deck with 1 creature until his 4th turn, and that might sound ludicrous, but judging by the cards in Boog's hand, this strategy is crazy enough to work. Now don't get me wrong, this strategy could definitely blow up in Garrus' face. Boog could draw a Hanabi Blast or a Yamabushi's Flame. If this happens, it would be almost impossible for Garrus to recover. He'd be in a 3-turn deficit, and that's not where a white deck wants to be against a red deck. Anyway, Garrus has drawn Cage of Hands, which is a great card for buying and precious time. He's laid down a Plains and tapped all of his lands to equip his Nodachi to his Retainer, making this card a 3/1 with first strike. And remember, if this card blocks or becomes blocked, it will become a 4/2 with first strike. Garrus has passed his turn over to Boog, who is now actually in an awkward situation. She has drawn Frost Wielder, an awesome card, but she currently doesn't have enough lands to play it. She'll play the only move available to her by getting her brother's Yamazaki on the battlefield. Yamazaki at face value isn't a great card. It costs 3 mana for a mere 2/1 with 1 point of Bushido. Boog has decided to attack Garrus again with her Houndmaster and Battle Mad Ronin. Now that Garrus' Retainer has no Dachi equipped this time around, he will be able to block one of Boog's creatures, and Garrus has decided to block the Houndmaster. Since Garrus' Retainer has first strike, he'll be sending Boog's Houndmaster to the graveyard, and Garrus will take 1 damage from the Battle Mad Ronin, lowering his health to 16. Back over to Garrus' side, he has drawn another Cage of Hands. He's going to be playing a Plains and most likely place his Hatamoto onto the battlefield. I don't think he can stall too much longer with just 1 creature in play. Yep, he has tapped down 2 lands and has placed Konda's Hatamoto onto the battlefield. It looks like Garrus is going to go on the offensive himself, looking to squeeze in 3 damage on Boog, and she has opted not to block and has taken the damage, going down to 17. Garrus will pass his turn back over to Boog, who really needs to draw a 4th or 5th mountain to start getting some of those creatures in her hand active on the battlefield. She has drawn another Ronin Houndmaster, not the best card she could have drawn, but at least she'll be able to continue that red deck aggression. She has to stay aggressive because as soon as Spiritbane starts losing momentum, that's when the game will start to shift in favor of the white deck Way of the Warrior. Boog has tapped down 3 mountains and will be playing her Houndmaster as predicted. She's going to attack yet again with her Houndmaster and Battle Mad Ronin. You can see that she has decided not to attack with her brother's Yamazaki, but I personally would have liked to see her go on the offensive with this card as well. She's probably holding out for her second brother's Yamazaki, but to be honest, that's a bit of a long shot. She needs to be focused on eliminating as many of Garrus' creatures as possible. Wow, Garrus has tapped down 2 lands and will be playing the instant Call to Glory. This is such a clutch move. Garrus has assigned his Retainer, which is now a 5/3 with first strike, to block the 3/3 Battle Mad Ronin, and his Hatamoto, which is now a 3/4, to block the 3/3 Houndmaster. Both of Garrus' creatures will overpower Boog's, meaning that both the Battle Mad Ronin and the Houndmaster will be sent to Boog's graveyard, and Garrus will take an enormous lead in this game. Garrus will start his next turn off with a ridiculous amount of tempo. This is a position that Boog simply doesn't want to be in, because once a red deck loses momentum, it's extremely hard to build back, especially so early in the game. Garrus has drawn a Moth Rider Samurai and played a Plains. It looks like he's going to completely lock down Boog this turn by enchanting Boog's Yamazaki with Cage of Hands, which prevents a creature from attacking or blocking. Garrus is going to bring the House of Boog once again, and since she doesn't have any creatures able to block, she's going to take the full damage, lowering her health to 13. Garrus will pass his turn and Boog needs to draw her 4th mountain or else she is going to be in serious trouble. Ouch! She draws another Frost Wielder and has absolutely no cards to play this turn. This means Garrus will gain even more tempo and will essentially go unchecked for at least 2 more turns. Even if Boog manages to get that 4th mountain out next turn, the creatures that she'll be able to play will have Summoning Sickness and won't be able to attack or use their active abilities. All Boog can really do now is bluff her hand, and that appears to be exactly what she is doing. Magic may not be your average card game, but it still requires a poker face and a few sneaky tactics here and there. Garrus will tap 4 lands to play as Moth Rider Samurai, a 2/2 human samurai creature with flying and 1 point of Bushido. Not a great card, but in this situation could be somewhat effective. I would imagine that Boog will be looking to get that 3/1 retainer off the battlefield first, meaning that Moth Rider could cause some serious problems in the long run. Now it appears that Boog's bluff had no effect on Garrus' decision making. She'll take the full 4 damage, dropping her health to 9. Honestly, I'm not sure if there's anything Boog can do at this point. Garrus is at least 3 turns ahead, and even drawing that 4th mountain probably won't do anything for her. The creatures in her hand are good, but really needed to be activated last turn. She does the only thing she can, getting the Frost Wielder on the field, and will pass her turn back over to Garrus. Boog isn't playing a bad game, she's just playing the hand she was dealt, which at the beginning of the game wasn't terrible by any means. Well, it wasn't perfect, it did require her to draw a few more lands in a few more instances, but there was a lot of potential. Garrus has drawn Samurai Enforcers and will tap all of his lands to get the Enforcers onto the battlefield. Samurai Enforcers is a 4/4 creature with 2 points of Bushido, and is the biggest creature Way of the Warrior has to offer. It looks like Garrus is going in for 6 damage. Boog has the option to block the incoming damage with her Frost Wielder, but has decided to take the 6 damage instead. This will bring her life total to a staggering 3. I'm pretty sure it didn't really matter if Boog blocked with the Frost Wielder or not. There isn't much she can do in a situation like this. Even if she manages to pull a 5th land, she still won't have enough blockers to prevent lethal next turn. Boog will draw Aki Rock Speaker, which can be a decent card depending on the type of hand the player has. It's a very situational creature and can be really good or really bad. Boog is going to tap down her Frost Wielder and deal 1 damage to Garrus' Retainer. Since the Retainer only has 1 toughness, this will send Garrus' Retainer to his graveyard and the equipment node Dachi will unequip. Boog has tapped down 4 lands and has played another Frost Wielder, which to be honest is Boog's only blocker, and I put blocker in quotation marks because Garrus does have another Cage of Hands which could easily be placed on the Frost Wielder, meaning Boog really has 0 blockers and no way to prevent lethal next turn. Garrus appears to be pointing out that it's meaningless to continue and that his victory is inevitable. Boog will call GG and that will conclude our game. I hope you guys enjoyed this blast from the past. The Kamigawa block is a fun and interesting set and is one of my favorites. If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe or check out our other videos in the annotations. Just a heads up guys, we do have a subscriber request from Mr. Green Yeti for a Magic 2013 intro pack game, Soul Domination vs Path to Victory, that we are currently working on. So if you guys have any other decks that you want to see go head to head, please leave us a comment. They don't have to be in the same set and they don't have to be intro decks. Send us any requests that you guys have and you might see your request in one of our videos. But if you guys have time, go check out Mr. Green Yeti's channel. He has some awesome The Binding of Isaac Let's Plays as well as some other interesting content. So with that being said, you should also check out Friday Night Magic at your local comic book store. It's a great way to socialize and meet other planeswalkers like yourself. This is Curtis, signing out till next time.